Alrighty guys, it is, was it Wednesday afternoon, just finished work, driving home. Heard a story this afternoon about a 60-year-old man, grandfather, something like that in Melbourne, who told some kids with knives. I can't remember where the story was in Melbourne, told them to stop doing something. Anyway, they came back at 2:30 in the morning, attacked him. I saw the pictures of the blood in his car. He called the police, no one answered, and had to defend himself. And anyway, you can probably find the story, but it's jogged my memory of one story I heard about 10 years ago. And anyway, this is not a go at the police, this is just a story about the system right now. Now, a friend of mine, one of my customers, I think it was, 10, 12 years ago, whatever it was, a white guy came from South Africa. I'm just saying why I'm being honest about this story. He's a white guy, Afrikaan kind of guy, moved from, I think, Johannesburg in South Africa, customer of mine, I think. Anyway, came here and he basically said, he told me what happens in a society when it starts breaking it down. And basically what that means is when, he said, pretty much when you call the police and they don't answer. And he goes, that's when you've got to defend yourself, and that's pretty much when society breaks down. And it was scary hearing that story just before on the radio. And I came in and looked at a few YouTube videos and a few shorts and saw the your clips or whatever you call it. And it's really got me remembering that story. And the fact of the matter, the Victoria's cut down police hours, and also too, from my understanding, enrolment in being a police officer is way down low. And not to go at the police, why would you want to be a cop when every time you arrest someone, or there's someone taking a video of you, make sure you're doing it properly, or which is fine, they should. However, there comes a point in time when police need to be able to do their job, because we all want law and order, even all the woke super left and the hard right. We want law and order. So it's really got me thinking when he said basically, when you can't work, this bloke in South Africa said, when you work in your garage, you can't leave your garage open. You've got to have big fences around because you've got to have private security because the police just don't come. And he basically said, when it starts to happen, the only way you're going to know is when you start calling police or ambulances and they don't answer or they don't come. And apparently they couldn't get the guy couldn't get a police officer to come out, or they didn't get an answer down in Melbourne. And it's really worrying because it's got me thinking, like, is this how it starts? Because at the end of the day, we see in the community pages, people call the cops, they can barely get there, they're overwhelmed. And there was one stage in my life where I thought about being a police officer, but the issue is I probably come from the school of hard knocks where I think you need discipline sometimes, and I would probably manhandle when I'm arresting people the wrong way. I mean, I just, being 6'5", it's probably going to happen. But my point of this little short video is that story that South African bloke told me, like, it's starting to ring true now, because if we don't have certain things in our society working in law and order, which is the first step of de-escalating a crime or stopping a criminal, whatever you want to call it, then once again, if you're familiar with Macy the dog, best dog in the world, still right there. But if we can't get law and order police officers to come, once again, this is not a go at the police themselves. This is a go at our system, how we keep throwing money at stupid crap and not actually throwing money at the stuff that matters. And make that what you want, getting into wars, woke stuff, climate change shit. You can put in a box and, we'd all be offended together in that box, because there's left and right leaning things we're spending money on we shouldn't. But I think we can all agree that we need law and order, because at the end of the day, you've kind of got that vegan girl that protests all the time. You need law and order to stop her from doing that shit sometimes. And then you probably have the alternate version on the right, people that are doing it too, or the Melbourne Nazi guys and stuff like that, like whatever they are. So my point is, like, is this how it starts? How it started in South Africa? And I don't want to get into England because I don't really know a lot about that over there. All I know is that it's chaos politically, and it's one anyway. But is this how it starts, and where does it go to from here? Because I don't see Australia becoming South Africa, but what the guy basically said is, once the police and that society starts breaking down, the first initial break where they don't come, it starts to break down even further, and it goes faster, I suppose, like a house of cards, you know what I mean? So comment below, do you think we're heading that way? I don't think we're heading that way fast. But I do believe, hopefully, if there's a political change with maybe one nation, or even if one nation don't get in, they'll hold the balance of power, which will force more police officers, to give them more power to do what they need to do to stop some of the shit. But it's worrying because with a lot of the left-leaning policies, in my opinion, they worry about feelings, not, I suppose that facts don't care about your feelings. And I feel like some of these things are just like, this shit's getting out of hand. And hearing that story, you can Google it yourself. I'm probably ranting again. You're probably used to this by now. But hearing that story about the 60-year-old man, and you see the blood in the car in the center console, and the car detailing part of me looks at that going, oh God, like, is this how it starts? And like, once again, I don't know, like, comment below, what do you think? I just think that Money needs to be poured back into resources and police officers. You know, you see some of the, apparently there's a car up the coast here, there's like an old Ford Falcon station wagon still getting around with a police car. Like, what the hell is going on? You know, you're here in Queensland, I think we've got all these RAV4s that can't even operate in certain, the batteries get too overheated or some crap like that. I don't know, comment below if I'm right or wrong. Oh, 5 minutes 20, this is a rant. But anyway, look, I'll close it this way. I hope we're not heading in the direction of South Africa, because if that's the case, you're going to have like areas like Cape Town, which have high-end security guards and blah, 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 and you're going to have the low-end areas like Johannesburg and places like that, Port Elizabeth, and I think that's Port Elizabeth. But I don't think we're heading there fast, but I do believe the off-ramp is right up there, and we're halfway there. So I would really hope that, you know, it's a long time before a federal election. So I hope we get our shit together. And I've seen a few videos from Chucky, whatever his name is, that guy there, how passionate he is. And I agree, like we're worried about this shit, but this shit over here keeps rising. So what are we going to do? Comment below, am I wrong? Good. Still there.